Okay, please help me welcome Matt.
So before you get going, you skipped over something very fast. You said you travel a bit. And you guys, you know the little kids game, Where's Waldo? We would have these Zoom calls. It's like, where's Sorrel? He's like, I'm in the Azores this week. All the time.
I keep getting kicked out of countries.
Well, that's a different problem.
I have been to, well, I set a goal about 15 years ago to go to 100 countries. And I worked in the travel business, so some of this was work, a lot of it was pleasure. I've been traveling for almost 30 years. And about 15 years ago, I set a goal to go to 100 countries. I've now been to 98. Woo. And in September, I'm going to Cyprus and Israel. So, look at this. And I got to go to Antarctica, so all 7 continents will be. So, at some point, I'm going to freeze, because I normally go to tropical, warm places. But I'm preparing now for Antarctica. You've been to Antarctica?
No, I'm just saying, I'm from the north.
Oh, okay.
It's colder up there. I melt in this hot weather.
Yeah, I try to never go anywhere where the temperature is below 70 degrees. So. Okay, Matt, we don't need you anymore. This is Matt. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Matt. All right, Matt. So Stephanie was not able to join us tonight. But tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Well, we've been living in the Houston area for the last 15 years. My wife and I are in our mid-40s. We've got a precious 12-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter, and we both have W-2 jobs. And we're originally from Central Texas. We both met at A&M. We're Aggies, so don't hold that against us.
Always Aggies in the room. Always Aggies
Yeah.
in the room.
So, I keep going. Let me tell you about how I came into.
Tell us a little bit about your jobs first.
Okay, so I'm in project management. I actually work for project managers with a big oil company, and I feel like I've been training for this moment my whole adult life, right? Because buying real estate is a lot like project management. You're managing budgets and timelines and lots of moving parts and pieces. But so that's what I do for my W-2. I've got about 16 years in that career. And up to this point, I've been satisfied. But some things have happened in the last few years. Maybe it's just my neck feeling sore from looking over my shoulder, during layoffs and downturn cycles, or pandemic politics, or whatever the drama is of the day. But I decided I need to get less dependent on my W-2 income. And so what you said really resonated with me, because I don't know exactly when the point in time was, but I discovered I have to get out from under this W-2, because the more money they keep paying me, the harder it is to escape. So here I am trying. Well, actually, I spent a couple years trying to find that hack and lost quite a bit of money in that search. But I'm so thankful I found this program, and I look forward to sharing it. Yeah.
So Stephanie wasn't able to join you, but tell us a little bit about what Stephanie does also.
Okay, Stephanie is a librarian, and she has been by my side for 20 years now, and she works really hard, mostly with raising our kids, but also teaching kids to read at the school, and so she deserves to live the lifestyle as well, probably more so than I do. She certainly works harder than I do.
Okay, now tell us a little bit how did you find Lifestyles, and why did you decide to join?
Okay, I've been listening to Dell on the radio for several years now, and I always love the inspiring messages that I've heard, and I've been sitting on the sidelines thinking, is this the time? Well, this year, maybe call it a New Year's resolution, but I decided to jump in and go to the 2-day workshop. And
You've been kicking yourself you didn't go earlier now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of us do.
There was one year where I picked the wrong investment strategy, and I'm definitely lamenting a little
Bitcoin,
bit. But
it's gonna go.
you got to get started eventually. You got to start somewhere.
When did you join?
I joined this February, just a few months ago.
Wow.
A few months ago, and you're already here.
And you're here already? You're up on stage since February? Since February? That's great.
Excellent. Okay. So we're going to talk about a house you have in Beaumont.
Yes, sir.
So for the people here in the audience, you probably know
Is
Beaumont.
there anybody from Beaumont? No, nobody.
Nope.
Okay.
But
That's
for the live audience, tell us how far Beaumont is from Houston and from where you live.
I live in Humble, so Beaumont's about an hour and 10 minutes away.
Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it was
Yeah.
further than that.
So I discovered this property on a road trip. It was the first single-family road trip I ever went on, and that was an interesting experience. I, toured a property that another member was showcasing, and then there was an opportunity to look at 5 other properties that had not been blasted yet. So I wound up.
Explain what you mean by blasted yet.
Okay, part of being a member, you get email blasts from realtors associated with lifestyles, and so all 55,000 real estate investors see those blasts.
If they sign up for it.
Right.
Like I don't look at them. No.
Right. You can turn them on and off, but these particular properties on the roadshow had not been widely promoted throughout the organization. So you get a jump on it if you go to the road trip. So I did, and I saw about 5 prospects. And it made me nervous because I felt like compelled to make a decision. I'm sitting in a restaurant, people are eating barbecue, and I'm looking at my phone, scanning through financials. I'm like, am I doing this wrong? But I picked this Beaumont property, and then at the end, I found out I was the only bidder. And I said, oh no, what did I just do?
So you're a type B?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about type A to type B, but the type B is the kind of person that's like, oh crap. I just stick my foot in it, right?
I can't remember, what's the type B? I actually
An analyzer.
I'm kind of a hybrid between the two, but at this moment, I started going B pretty hard and thinking, why am I the only one bidding on this property? The numbers look good, the cash on cash return looked good, and so I got a call from Jennifer McCormick, and we walked the property, we went out and visited, and I was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't one of those properties that your jaw hit the ground. It actually needed a really fairly light rehab, so.
Yeah, you'll find there's several ways that members get properties at different levels of the membership, and a road trip is one of those. We have a road trip in Houston and Dallas and Central Texas. I think they have them in Georgia, some other places. Different ways we get properties. But we also have a national road trip, an online national road trip. Is Jeff Smith in the room? Jeff, we had a national road trip online last week or 2 weeks ago. How many properties were available at that road trip? 50. 50.
Amazing.
So people in the live audience, and even if you're here in town, and you can tune into that, and there were 50 properties from around the country, because we have realty teams in 8 or 9 different markets now. And so there are a lot of opportunities to get properties, to have properties that you can look at and analyze and decide if you want to move forward.
And some of the realtors out of this office are some of the highest volume realtors is the U.S. now?
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
You're going to get there? Sorry. Am I stealing your thunder? Sorry.
Anyway, you found the property, and we're just going to go through some pictures. And
Yes.
it was a light rehab, but you said it was a light rehab, but look at some of these pictures. So the outside, you did a little bit of work and gave it some definite curb appeal.
That's right.
But inside, is that a light rehab? This is what an experienced 3-month, 4-month Lifestyles member considers a light rehab, because most of you look at that picture on the left and think, this is absolutely horrible. And then you can see what he turned it into. Now, you did all this work yourself out there, swinging hammers and doing all this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I want to mention that Jennifer did a really great job of calming my nerves down when I walked through the front door of this place. She was in control and understood exactly what needed to be done, and that confidence made me realize, okay, this is going to work. So.
Okay, y'all keep stealing my thunder by Jennifer. I'm going to have to do it now. So is Jennifer here tonight? There's Jennifer McCormick. Stand up and wave, Jennifer. So Greg mentioned that some of the realtors here are some of the best in the city. There's over 45,000 realtors in the greater Houston area, and we have 3 that's made the top 10, not 10%, the top 10. Moon Kim is number 1 for several years. Jennifer and John Johnson, Jennifer McCormick and John Johnson tied, and there was a statistical tie, but they were in the top 10 also. And so one of the top 10 realtors out of 45,000 realtors in the greater Houston area. No, we have a realty team in Georgia, and then they have two realtors there that whatever their system of ranking is, it comes from the Houston Business Journal here, how they rank those, but whatever the system that Georgia rates their realtors, two of the Lifestyles realtors were high in their rankings in Georgia also. So we have some of the top realtors in most of the markets where we have realty teams now. So anyway, so this is one of the pictures. Let's go through just some of these. And again, on the light rehab, he totally turned this kitchen around. So that's a beautiful.
Now, did you spend hours and hours and hours at the tile shop picking out the perfect color scheme for this neighborhood? Is that what like they do that on HGTV?
Absolutely
You
not.
didn't follow that, Bill?
No, I didn't. I didn't. Proud to say I did not.
Good for you.
So again, there's the bathroom, and now this is from a member who was, shocked when he walked in and a little afraid of it, and now it's done, it's rented, it's cash flowing, and now he's saying, oh, this is a light rehab, nothing to it.
And it was only an hour away, so you drove there every day after work to go look at it, make sure they're doing a good job, right?
Once a week I went out there just because I couldn't help myself, but I was in good hands the whole way. So.
Okay. All right, so let's just kind of touch on the numbers. I'll just kind of do a summary, and then you can kind of elaborate on this. But when you found the house, you purchased it for $84,000. It was in a neighborhood where, when the house is in good shape, once you did the rehab, it's worth $155,000. $43,000. I love it, Matt, but that's an average rehab, a little above average. It's not a light rehab, but I like your thinking though. And so,
relative.
Yeah, so you put $25,000 out of pocket. Your cash, your rent $1,640. Your cash flow at $519 a month. That is well above average in this market. So congratulations on that. Thank you. And so your $25,000 out of pocket and your annual cash flow is $6,200. You're getting a 25% cash on cash return. Where else are you getting a 25% cash on cash return these days?
David only got 12.5 cents on his. Anybody get 25% in the stock market regularly? No?
Yeah.
Look at these numbers for a second. Just want to make sure everybody's understanding this. He bought it for 84, right? He put in 43, so add those two together, you get about 127 and change, right? But it appraised for 155. That's where you get that equity capture. So that's money, that's equity that he owns for having bought it and fixed it up, over and above the 25,000 he put in it. Right, so realistically, if he sold it right away, he'd get 45,000 less closing costs. We don't recommend that because then you're going to pay short-term capital gains, and we don't get into flipping. There's a lot of reasons you want to hold it, but you see how powerful that is?
Gets me excited.
What is that? What percentage-wise is that? Do you know, roughly?
It's about 70.
70, 80%. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Who can make 80%? Can you buy a stock at an 80% discount? No. You can't just go to your broker and say, I want an 80% discount on Coca-Cola today.
Yeah.
No.
Walk in tomorrow morning to your stockbroker and say, here's $25,000, and I want you to invest this, and within 2 months start paying me $519 a month, and then that stock, you make an immediate $20,000 added to your net worth. This just doesn't.
Now, I know if this is the first time you're seeing this, it seems very mystical, but we literally walk through it step by step, and you'll see how we do it. And once you know the how, then it's like, oh, okay, I can see easily how they get those numbers.
Yeah. So this is a slide we have in our case study section, and so this is just your first one, but we expect you to be adding more to this, and we're going to talk about what your future plans are here in a little bit. So let's tell us a little bit about, I keep going the wrong button.
I got to get a new one of those clickers for you, David.
Tell us how Lifestyles has changed. It's only been 3 months, so how is it changing your life?
Well, it's helping me see my finances in a whole new way, and helping me to unlearn some bad habits that I've spent the last couple of decades, ingraining in my middle-class mindset, trying to break free of that, and this has been a pivotal step in the right direction. So getting involved with this organization, going to Expo, going to road trips, talking to people more successful than myself, realizing that we're all on the same journey, and that's all been really helpful. However, it's challenging to reel my wife and my family and friends into that mindset because they aren't neck deep in it like we are. So I kind of have to carry the load for my family for a while.
Getting over the middle class mindset is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Some of my very best friends, I've tried to talk to them a million ways to Sunday, and they're stuck. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because I'd really love to have them have lots of money. It's cool for them.
But you're doing it. That's what matters.
You're taking the steps.
Okay, so let's talk about what's next. So what's your short-term goal?
So my short-term goals are, well, right now I'm working on a second property. I just bought one in Texas City, and we're going through a rehab right now. So I'm working to get that cash flowing.
So you're already under contract on the second property.
I've already closed on
Already
it.
closed on the second
We
property.
just did the foundation work, so
Well, I'm just curious. Can you share your projections on that one?
sure. Off the top of my head, this is a property I bought for $88,000. It has, the hard money ARV was,
That's after repaired value.
yes, that was 195,000.
Ooh, so twice. How much is the rehab?
The rehab's going to be about 58,000.
All right, so you're getting what, about $30,000
60.
in equity capture, and cash out of pocket, roughly.
11,000.
So he'll be up here in a couple months doing that one. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's like 300% equity capture, right? Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't ask you enough
I'm
questions.
usually a hard luck champion. I never win anything, so this feels great.
I should have
Doesn't
asked
it?
more questions. This should have been on here as projected. I apologize for not
That's okay.
digging deep enough with
We
you.
got it. We got it.
We got it,
We
though,
got
so.
it.
Okay, and so what's your long-term goals? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I forgot to mention, I'm also in a passive deal. So that was the first thing I did when I joined the organization. I got certified as a passive and got plugged into a deal. And so my long-term goal involves getting into more passive deals and potentially transitioning to multifamily IRO. And as time allows,
IRO stands for
independent rental owner.
No investor left behind.
Yeah,
So you joined in February.
joined in February.
You have a property done, leased, cash
Yep.
flowing. You're closed on a second property. You're in rehab on that one.
Right.
And you're already in one passive investment.
Yes, sir.
What are you waiting for? You're wasting time.
Uh,
I sleep in my spare time, Sorrel.
So one of the things I was fascinated about looking at your single-family properties. And first of all, interestingly, he kind of did it in the reverse order of what most people think. He did a passive deal, then he went and did 2 single-family deals. But I was struck by the fact that the equity capture you had on both of those properties, each one of them independently, more than paid for your preferred membership.
I noticed
Pretty
that as
cool.
well.
Yeah. I bet you, the spouse and the spouse, I was like, see, honey, I did it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about who's on your team. So tell us about, we already talked about Jennifer.
Yes.
So tell us about Hen, the other mentor.
Yes, Hen was very helpful in with all the questions I had. She was steering the rudder at the single-family road trip. So I kind of was working with her on and off throughout the whole process of my first property acquisition and rehab. And she would tell me, you need to be doing this, you need to be, making sure that I didn't miss any critical steps. And so very helpful. And I did reach out to Doug Butler and Sorrel. So I would encourage you, when you're in that situation, use all the mentors because they all bring something special to the table. So
Yeah. And the 2 days this weekend, Greg's already talked about that. The next road trip is a week from Saturday. And so anybody here, we suggest even if you're brand new and you're at that level that you can attend that, even for education, even if you're not ready to do anything. It's very educational. And if you're online, that will be broadcast online too, so you can see it from anywhere in the country.
So just a quick shout out to the contractor I used, J&W Construction, Quality Construction Services. They did a fantastic job, and they made it a real easy process. The rehab process worked well with them. And I did my home inspection with Inspections by Pat, fellow Aggie, and he was real easy to work with. And my lenders were very, very helpful and made the financing as painless as it could possibly be. Tim Bro with Amp Lending and Kellen Rembert with Searchers Capital. That was my hard money lender. So thank you so much for making the process easy, and I'm on my way. So.
Okay.
I mentioned in the 2-day, you're going to learn. My goal after the 2 days is to teach you everything you need to know to get going on single family yourself if you wanted to, and give you a really good basis on multifamily. That's why we call us as the 2-day presenters, our title is Life Changer. Our goal is to help you change your life. But all we can do is help you. We give you the information. You actually have to do something with it. And I know people that have, taken all the classes and then done nothing, and that's a shame. I'm just so grateful to see somebody up here that since February, 3 deals, you're crushing it, you're changing your life. Give him a hand for that. That's phenomenal.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we have time for a few questions. Any questions for Matt? We have microphones, or did you see the yellow out?
Well, I can repeat the question.
Are you going to go with the same vendors for your Texas City home?
Are you going to go with the same vendors for your Texas City home?
Some of them I have. So, some of these contracts I competitively bid. So it just depends. Yeah, they all have the same opportunity for every investment that I have.
And what we teach is each time look around, and you might find this lender is great at this point, but next time it could be a month later, and there's different terms, different rates, different fees over here with this lender. Same thing with the contractor. This contractor may have been great, but now he's too busy, and here's another contractor. So you're going to shop it around each time. You will get some favorites, but shop it around.
Hey, along those same lines, that's a Lifestyles vendor, and is that in Beaumont or Houston? J&W Quality.
They're a Houston-based outfit, so.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Over here?
Just have a question. What is the difference between a lifestyle realty and a regular realty?
The question was, what's the difference between Lifestyles Realty and regular realty? You want to take that, Sorrel?
I'll take that. Lifestyles realtors, first of all, most of them, not all of them, are investors. Some actually, I saw Alex Mills in the audience earlier. I'm not sure where Alex is. Alex over there. Alex, standing by the white post. Alex was an investor before she became a realtor. Is that right, Alex? Yeah, so they fully understand the Lifestyles model, and they are out there beating the bushes, working with other realtors for pocket listings. They're working with wholesalers, and they develop a team to source properties that make sense in the Lifestyles model. I know we have some online audience, but in Houston, we're not buying a $400,000 property to make a rental. They're finding the properties that work best to give these kind of numbers. We just showed that Matt. Jennifer found this property where these numbers work to give Matt this $500 cash flow and $20,000 of equity. A regular realtor is not going to go out and beat the bushes and talk to wholesalers and do the kind of things to get these types of properties to present to the membership. Yeah. So they're going to be your first line out there finding the property that's going to make you the kind of money that allow people like us to get these numbers and to be able to retire.
So their main role is finding investment properties. They're not finding houses for people to live in.
Jeff, was that right? Did I cover that?
Is there a charge? What is the percent charge?
It's if you're a challenge member or preferred member, you have access to those properties.
They have a charge, I'm sure.
Typically the seller pays the commission on those things, right? Is there a seller commission ever? I don't know, Jeff, any of the realtors? There's no seller commission or buyer commission.
Is that a 6% or what is it?
Jeff just said the commission on the sell side depends on the deal.
Yeah, there's all
On the
different
buy
types of
side, there's no
property.
commission on the buy side, is there? Or is there? Depends on the deal. Yeah. So if there is something, you can look at the numbers and analyze it. Yeah. Right.
But the biggest number you're analyzing is, do the numbers work for you? Are you making the cash flow that you need? Are you getting the equity capture that you need? Is the out-of-pocket work for you in your budget? That's what we're looking at. The rest of the numbers are, not insignificant, but those numbers are built into the pricing that makes that particular property work for you. And you're not going to walk away from an opportunity because of real estate commission. The numbers have to work for you, and that real estate, what the realtors are earning is built into that.
I want to echo something that Sorrel just said. It's what's important to you. And I know people that haven't been exposed to the deals that get put out there by the Lifestyles Realty, people are like, well, everybody's going to want those deals. And it's like, no. Sometimes there's deals that might be good for me, but not good for Matt, or vice versa. So there's plenty of times the deals go out there, and they may sit for a day or two before somebody goes, whoa, that's the perfect deal for me, and then they snap it up. So.
Okay, David, we have any questions online?
Yeah. What's the interest rate on your mortgage on that deal? Your 30-year?
6.99.
6.99?
Yes, sir.
That's almost like a car dealership interest rate. 6.99%.
Yeah.
Okay, we got time for one more question here. Jacob, go ahead.
Do you use a property manager to manage the properties, or do you do it
I
yourself?
do. It's me.
Okay.
Perfect question. I was hoping for that question.
How much time have you had to to use to manage the property since you rented it out?
Not much at all. Once it was cash flowing, once I had the renter in, I've had a couple of calls, but they were easy to resolve.
One of our core philosophies in any of our properties is we fix it up front, right? We don't have stuff that's half broken or gonna break, so you shouldn't be getting calls. And we'll talk in a lot more detail about that this weekend.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too, is you fix everything up front, everything that needs fixing, everything that doesn't have a 3 to 5 year life cycle left in it. I personally have replaced roofs that were not leaking, but they were old. I've replaced AC units that were old, but they were working, heating and cooling fine the day I bought the property. If that didn't work in my budget to replace those, I didn't buy that property. And you minimize maintenance costs going forward when you do that. We have a lot of members who live out of state and they buy properties in different places and they never see them and they manage them themselves simply because you don't get a lot of maintenance calls when you fix everything up front. Okay, let's give Matt a big hand. Congratulations on your success.
Nice job.